XCN secret pattern. This is urgent, apparently. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. First, we're looking at a couple other coins. I want you to keep in mind BNT, DNT, and a few others. BNT is holding some nice support right around where we expected. We could see a retracement to test this 200 EMA again before holding support, potentially start pushing upwards, keeping in mind that it is below this trend line. However, it is forming a downward wedge, more or less, more like a downward channel. So with that being said, you pretty much need to push back up to this downward black trend line, break that, and then push over this 0.63 cents. Looking at DNT, we've been talking about this on the previous ones. DNT is also inching its way across that downward trend line, looking very nice. The 200 EMA is getting closer, so all we need to do is do a little bit more consolidation for probably a couple more days before crossing over the 0.03 and the 200 EMA, and this has a very long way to go for DNT. Just keep DNT in mind, as well as IOTX trying to hold this upward trend line, also needing to cross over that 200 EMA and holding support on that upward trend line to ultimately be pushing up towards the 0.034. Looking at GRT, also looking a little bit better with the support. Also wanting it to cross over the 0.10 and the 200 EMA before entering for this push up to this downward trend line at 22 cents. Keeping all in mind that Bitcoin is actually trying to break its downward trend line as well as the $108,000 mark. When it gets over that, we can start seeing some consolidation and push upwards, increasing the rest of the market. I did another video about QNT and XRP, so let's move to XYO, and we'll get to XCN a little bit later. But XYO is going to be a major coin to push up if it holds this black upward trend line. If Bitcoin starts to drop, we could see this drop further to around the 0.007, but the next push up, we'd want to be breaking this downward black trend line at around 0.01 cents before ultimately pushing up to 0.02 cents and beyond. Compound, we had a nice scalp trade in and out. It is now below the 200 EMA, but holding nice support on this upward trend line, breaking this downward trend line, and we just need to see it hold within this triangle and slowly push over this black trend line before we start seeing that pump up, which would also be crossing the 200 EMA, and the RSI is right around the 50. Tornado and Toshi before XCN. Tornado has been astronomically stable. We just need it to hold above the 200 EMA and start following with the rest of the altcoins on the push up. As you can see, it had a major push here back in January, and that one push in one day went from 790 up to 27, being a 250% pump in one day. So keep Tornado Cash on your watch list, as it has an all-time high of over $450. Toshi is also building some support. It is a meme coin, but it is breaking that downward wedge. So I can expect that this is going to have a nice pop upwards. As we see, it was about a week where it had this push back here in May 9th. So whenever we get over this downward trend line, we are going to most likely see a pop at least to the 0.0007 area, which is a rough estimate of a 63% increase. Now XCN, the secret strategy of XCN is the bigger picture. When we get rid of everything, it's a beautiful chart. It has that major pop, 2,000% that we gained, major retracement, held support on the 200 EMA, had a push up, tried to break that downward trend line, and is now holding above the 200 EMA and breaking out of the downward trend line, which ultimately means that we have a very long way to go to get to the top. Just to this next stopping point somewhere in here, 440, percent increase that can happen very, very quickly, as we saw what happened back here in December, right before right at the beginning of the year, to help with taxes. We had taxes, paid our taxes. Next year we had major profit. So with that being said, major W forming. Next push up, it would have to be breaking the 0.049 cents, which can very easily happen, pushing it up to the next stop, which would be around 10 cents or potentially 7 cents before 10 cents. So that's kind of it for today. But looking at the closer picture, I guess, on XCN, you can see that it's clearly trying to hold support over this downward wedge, which when we compare that to Quant, we can see Quant broke over a downward trend line, and when that happened, it had a major push up, retracement, and held support. Comparing that to XCN, had that push up, retracement, looking for support before that next push up. So that's it for today. Like and subscribe if you want. References in the links below, and good luck. Have fun with it. I will see you on the next one.